Over the years, the way that people downplay Bleach in power scaling arguments has become more and more ridiculous, and it's been especially the case after those terrible death battle videos. And then you have others who treat Naruto like it's untouchable in cross-universe battles. Every time Kaguya gets brought up against cosmic level threats, you see the same knee-jerk reaction. Oh well, she's multiversal with her dimensions, and with her Infinite Tsukuyomi with her Expansive Truth-Seeking Orb, it's GG. In this video, I want to explain why Yhwach vs Kaguya isn't close at all. I'll be going over their feats, the scaling, and all of the hacks abilities that each of the characters have, as we determine who is the strongest between these two endgame villains from their respective series. Let's start by establishing some ground rules. So the fight will take place in a neutral dimensional space where collateral damage doesn't matter. Both characters will be at peak bloodlust and ready to unleash everything in their arsenal. Neither of them will have prep time or outside interference, and when it comes to Kaguya, we're using her at maximum power during the 4th Great Ninja War. This means that she has full connection to the God Tree, access to all 6 dimensions, and her complete moveset, which includes the Expansive Truth-Seeking Orb. For Yhwach, it's his absolute peak after he had absorbed the Soul King, with his almighty fully awakened. This is after he had casted the 3rd Ashvalan, where he had absorbed the power of Gerard and Hashwad. So yeah, you can expect that he has his reality warping abilities at maximum efficiency. In order to win this fight, it's either death, incapacitation, or complete inability to continue fighting. When it comes to their energy systems, with Reiatsu and Chakra, they're staying exactly as they are, and for the purposes of this video, they can interact with each other. I want to now do a basic overview of each of the characters. As we start with Yhwach, he serves as the endgame villain of Bleach. An individual who has lived for over 1,000 years, he's conquered many countries and even realms, and he was born as the son of the Soul King himself. Yhwach possesses the ability to distribute fragments of his soul to others, and he reclaims these fragments when they die, as he becomes stronger with each fragment that returns to him. Some of his key feats include absorbing the Soul King, the linchpin that maintains the Bleach reality. This is an entity that was holding together 3 universal realms. When Yhwach consumed the Soul King, he gained the power to merge the human world, the Soul Society, and Hueco Mundo into a singular realm. He successfully executed a 1,000-year invasion plan which had destroyed the Soul Society and had wiped out the Zero Division, allowing him to take over the Royal Palace. Even as a corpse now, Yhwach became the replacement of the Soul King, as he has enough spiritual energy to serve as the new Soul King, holding the balance of reality together. Yhwach's signature abilities center around his Shrift the Almighty, which is his most devastating power. This allows him to see all possible futures at the same time, like grains of sand in the wind, and he chooses which grain of sand becomes reality. He can rewrite his own death, and he can neutralize any ability that he has witnessed across all of the potential future timelines. Take for example, when Ichigo had activated his true Bankai, Yhwach had already seen how powerful this Bankai was in the future, so he had destroyed it in the future so that it was no longer functional in the present. In this way, Yhwach can destroy his opponent's techniques in ways that transcend conventional damage. On the other side, we have Kaguya, who serves as the hidden final boss of Naruto. She was revealed as the original source of all chakra on Earth. She is a member of the alien Ōtsutsuki clan, as she had consumed the forbidden chakra fruit from the God Tree, thus becoming the wielder of chakra and ending wars through overwhelming power before corruption had consumed her mind. Kaguya's main feats include the Expansive Truth-Seeking Orb, a technique that threatened to destroy her root dimension and rebuild it from scratch. She successfully casted Infinite Tsukuyomi on the entire planet, transforming most of humanity into white Zetsu over extended periods. Kaguya fought against Hagoromo and Hamura for months before being sealed, and even after her revival, she battled Six Paths Naruto and Rinnegan Sasuke simultaneously across multiple dimensions. Kaguya's main ability revolves around her Rinne Sharingan, granting her dimensional manipulation through Amino Minaka, she can instantly transport herself and opponents between 6 different pocket dimensions, each with unique environmental properties. Her all-killing ash bones reduce anything that they touch to molecular dust, and with her 80 God's vacuum attack, it creates massive chakra fists capable of overwhelming perfect Susanoo. However, her greatest weakness remains her documented lack of combat experience, as she relies purely on overwhelming power rather than tactical thinking. Let's now dive into the ability comparison here, and this is where Naruto fans will start to get worried. Kaguya's abilities look overwhelming on paper, as she has dimensional control, molecular disintegration, environmental manipulation, and even chakra absorption. She seems untouchable, but the problem is that Yhwach's moveset was designed to counter exactly these kinds of reality warping opponents. Take for example her dimensional battlefield removal through Ame no Minaka. It sounds unbeatable until you remember that Yhwach casually travels between dimensions throughout Bleach. This is thanks to their shadow teleportation skill. The Quincy usually expand shadows as they become doorways between different dimensions. We've seen them use these shadows to travel between the Soul Society, the Royal Palace, and even their Shadow Realm. The only limitation is that this transportation skill cannot be used if shadows do not exist in the room or area that they are in. Then you have Yhwach's ability to Almighty, which shows him every possible future dimension where Kaguya might transport him to, thus allowing him to prepare countermeasures or simply choose futures where the teleportation fails. Then you have Kaguya's all-killing ash bones, the molecular disintegration attack that turns anything that it touches to dust. Except what happens when you hit someone whose ability rewrites the future where the attack had succeeded? Yhwach has demonstrated resurrection by choosing timelines where his death had not occurred. Even if the ash bones land, he could easily select a future where they missed, thus developing immunity to the technique. Kaguya's Infinite Tsukuyomi does seem powerful, but when you compare it to the Almighty, they are totally different abilities. While Kaguya is working with chakra-based mind control, Yhwach is fundamentally warping reality. Yhwach has been shown to become immune to abilities after having observed them just once, which is likely extended to any illusion-based attacks that Kaguya might attempt. There is a possibility for Kaguya's illusions to work, especially knowing that Yhwach was susceptible to Aizen's Kyoka Suigetsu, so this may well be a weakness for him, which I'll discuss later in the video. When it comes to the Expansive Truth-Seeking Orb, theoretically it lets her destroy and recreate entire dimensions, but this technique requires extensive setup time, external chakra absorption from Infinite Tsukuyomi victims, and it leaves her vulnerable during the prep time. The predictive abilities of the Almighty should show Yhwach exactly when and how she's preparing to use this technique, thus giving him many opportunities to interrupt or counter it. When considering their physical combat stats, we've got to give Kaguya some respect. Her environmental control is pretty insane. Her dimensions contain stars, her ETSO threatened to obliterate and reconstruct entire space-times, and her chakra output dwarfs anything else in Naruto. This is impressive large-scale reality warping. Yhwach doesn't fight like Kaguya though. He simply doesn't need to blow up dimensions because his strength lies in cosmic scale spiritual pressure, which is combined with tactical precision. After he absorbed the Soul King, his mere presence affects the balance of reality. His Reiatsu alone can create dimensional rifts, and his spiritual pressure operates on scales that maintain multiple universe-sized realms. In terms of raw power, both characters operate at cosmic scales, but Yhwach's feats demonstrate direct combat application, while Kaguya's require specific conditions and prep time. When it comes to speed, Naruto fans love pointing out Kaguya's scaling above Toneri and her ability to keep pace with Six Paths characters. This puts her comfortably at faster than light plus levels. But here's where it gets interesting. Bleach characters have been casually scaling above light speed since much earlier in the series. Yhwach demonstrated faster than light plus combat speeds against Ichibei across dimensional distances. He outmaneuvered opponents who react to light speed attacks, and his Ashvalan beams traveled interdimensional distances at faster than light plus velocities. After absorbing the Soul King, the residual energy formed these dark creatures, which had spread across the realms of Bleach at massively faster than light levels. The Almighty eliminates the relevance of raw speed though. When you can see every possible future and choose which one occurs, it doesn't matter how fast your opponent moves. Kaguya's speed feats, while impressive, contain notable inconsistencies. Despite being faster than light plus in scaling, she was repeatedly tagged by coordinated attacks from Team 7, and she showed declining performance when her chakra depleted. Her combat inexperience manifested as poor reaction timing, despite possessing the raw speed to compete on faster levels. When considering their fighting techniques, Kaguya's combat style relies on overwhelming chakra output and environmental advantages. She uses dimensional switching for tactical repositioning, energy projection for offense, and environmental hazards to pressure her opponents, but this is exactly the predictable pattern which the Almighty punishes. Yhwach's technique game operates on multiple levels at the same time. He combines precognitive advantage with reality manipulation, as he utilizes future sight to set traps across multiple timelines while deploying various different abilities as needed. His 1,000 years of combat experience against transcendent opponents gives him tactical flexibility that Kaguya simply cannot match. The critical difference is adaptability. Kaguya relies on her predetermined moveset and environmental control, while Yhwach adapts in real time. He develops immunity to abilities after observing them, and he can counter techniques using knowledge gained from future observation. When considering their intelligence and strategy, this category represents the most decisive gap. Yhwach possesses over 1,000 years of warfare, conquest, and strategic planning experience. He successfully executed complicated invasion plans which spanned decades. He outmaneuvered the Zero Division, and he consistently adapted to unexpected situations throughout his fights. Yhwach's strategic thinking shines in his ability to turn apparent disadvantages into overwhelming victories for himself. Even without the Almighty active, he demonstrated superior tactical analysis against individuals like Yamamoto and Ichibei, as he found ways to overcome impossible odds through clever application of his powers. Kaguya's strategic thinking, on the other hand, represents her greatest weakness. Despite Black Zetsu's guidance, she made consistently poor tactical decisions throughout her revival arc. She fell for basic misdirection like Naruto's reverse harem jutsu, made dimensional switches that placed her at a disadvantage, and she showed emotional instability that affected her combat performance. Against an opponent who can observe all possible futures and choose favorite outcomes, combat inexperience becomes exponentially more dangerous. Yhwach would recognize Kaguya's patterns across multiple timelines, he would exploit her emotional triggers, and he would counter her dimension switching through superior battlefield awareness. When considering durability and stamina, both of these characters demonstrate impressive endurance, but their power sources are very different. Yhwach's durability operates on cosmic scales after he had absorbed the Soul King. He tanked attacks from beings that were capable of threatening dimensional stability, and he showed minimal damage from techniques that could destroy landscapes. More importantly, the Almighty gives him defensive options beyond traditional durability. He can rewrite futures where he takes damage, he can create immunity to abilities after observation, and he can resurrect himself if he dies by choosing timelines where his death didn't occur. This makes him functionally immortal through reality manipulation rather than regeneration. Kaguya's durability includes surviving Naruto's super-tailed beast Rasen Shuriken barrage, and taking coordinated attacks from Six Paths enhanced opponents. While impressive within the scaling of Naruto, these feats operate at planetary levels compared to Yhwach's cosmic scale endurance. Stamina also reveals a huge difference, as Yhwach's power source connects directly to the Soul King's cosmic energy, providing essentially unlimited endurance. His battles showed no signs of fatigue, even during extended battle against multiple powerful opponents like Ichigo and Aizen. Kaguya's stamina shows concerning limits. Her power decreased when separated from the God Tree, extended ability usage required external chakra absorption, and the ETSO specifically needed energy drain from Infinite Tsukuyomi victims. This suggests that her personal reserves have limits that Yhwach's cosmic power source just doesn't have. Let's have a look at each of their ultimate abilities. Kaguya's is the Expansive Truth-Seeking Orb. This represents her most powerful technique, capable of destroying entire dimensions and rebuilding them according to her will. If this technique activates successfully, it could theoretically erase Yhwach along with everything anything else in that space-time. But here's the limit. The ETSO requires extensive prep time, external chakra sources, and it leaves Kaguya vulnerable during the setup. The technique also operates as environmental destruction rather than targeted attack, thus making it difficult to use strategically in direct combat. Yhwach's ability to Almighty, combined with his Soul King absorption, grants him near omniscient battlefield control through fate manipulation. He can observe infinite possible futures simultaneously, select which outcome becomes reality, and develop immunity to any ability that he witnesses. These strategic applications are limitless, as he sets traps across future timelines, ensuring only favorable outcomes occur as he neutralizes opponent abilities through observation. The crucial difference is in the immediate applicability. Yhwach is able to use the Almighty instantly and continuously throughout combat. Kaguya's Expansive Truth-Seeking Orb functions more like a reset button requiring specific conditions to activate. Are there any wildcards in this matchup? Well, Kaguya's dimensional control represents her most unique advantage. This is her ability to instantly transport battles between 6 different environments, which could disrupt Yhwach's strategies and provide tactical advantages through environmental hazards. However, this strength becomes irrelevant against the Almighty's precognitive abilities. Yhwach would observe every possible dimensional switch across future timelines. He would prepare for each environment's hazards and potentially develop immunity to the transportation effect itself after he has witnessed it. So this is how I see this fight playing out 9.5 times out of 10. Kaguya opens with dimensional manipulation, perhaps transporting Yhwach to her ice or lava dimension for environmental advantage. She follows up with all-killing ash bones and chakra fists as she is confident in her overwhelming power. But then Yhwach has already observed this sequence across multiple future timelines. The Almighty activates, and suddenly every attack Kaguya launches either misses, it gets redirected, or Yhwach develops immunity after observing the attacks. Her dimensional switches become predictable, her molecular disintegration gets countered by reality manipulation, and her environmental advantages are neutralized through future sight. Kaguya would have no choice but to prep the Expansive Truth-Seeking Orb, but Yhwach has seen this coming for several moves. He interrupts the technique, or he just simply chooses a future where Kaguya's preparation fails. The battle becomes increasingly one-sided as the Almighty's information advantage compounds over time. The only path for Kaguya involves landing a successful ETSO before the Almighty fully processes her capabilities. But with Yhwach's cosmic scale durability, reality manipulation defenses, and precognitive advantage, that's an impossibly narrow window for victory. And even if she lands the ETSO and kills Yhwach, then Yhwach can resurrect himself from a future where he hasn't died. I did run a community poll on the channel where I asked all of you who would win in a 1v1 fight. We've had several thousand votes so far, and the results are overwhelmingly one-sided. Out of the votes, only 5% think that Kaguya would win, while the overwhelming majority favor Yhwach at 95% of votes. So this was my breakdown of Yhwach versus Kaguya and why it isn't even close. If there is anything that I've forgotten to mention, then let me know by continuing the discussion in the comments, and do let me know how you think this battle would have played out. I love both of these characters, and I'm a huge fan of both Naruto and Bleach, so if there are any other matchups you want me to cover, then let me know by leaving a comment under this video. Thanks for making it to the end of this one, and I cannot wait to see you in my next video. A massive thank you goes out to all of my amazing Patreon supporters for helping to make this video possible. If you also want to support the channel and see your name in the end of my videos, then check out my Patreon, which has loads of perks like early video access and so much more. Thank you for sticking around till the end of the video, and whatever you contribute will mean a lot to me.